All praise, all praise. Yabrakakami, how about Sham Hamashiach? How was all praise. It's your brother Karatazai Abanya Shala right here with Achnawa Shaddad. All right, Shaddad from the city gates of Gem City, Dayton, Ohio. We back at it like Torah addicts out of rehab. All right, so we're going to go through a little bit of feast talk while we're waiting on the rest of the Mashmakah, waiting on the rest of the families. Yahushai, Joshua Isaac, his family, and a few other Mashmakayim should be coming. And we're going to feast. We're going to go through the scriptures. All right, we're going to enjoy this day as it is. We have the Eladim in the other room. We have Banath Nakwa. She's helping with the children. Salute to all of the women of Israel that's ministering and that's helping. What we want to do is we want to dedicate this time frame to the mothers and to the women of Israel during this time frame of feast dedication. And the reason being is because we had an amazing mother who was the mother of the 7 sons. Now, a lot of you may know this story. A lot of you may not know this story. Shaddad is an excellent reader. He's an excellent orator. He's also an excellent artist. All right. I remember we was at the summit. He was like, what'd you say? He was like, we said, why is that beat like that? Or why are you rapping like that? I was like, I know, but just to let y'all know, this man is an amazing lyricist. He's he's an anointed lyricist. And his reading skills is through the roof. So what we're going to do as a family is we're going to read to you the story of the mother and her 7 sons. We're going to read it in its entirety. So we want you women and you family members, you men, to sit down, pay attention, listen. Let this be another thing that goes along with the all praise. And this is more for the Feast of Dedication. All right, Shalom, Nunya. All right, so again, we want you to hear this story because when we're looking at the Feast of Dedication, the Feast of Dedication happened. Why? Because the temple was destroyed, right? When the temple was destroyed, there were all kinds of atrocities and abominations that happened to Jerusalem during that time frame. So once Shaddad reads the story of the mother and her 7 sons into your ears for your listening pleasure, what we're going to do is we're going to go to the book of 4th Maccabees. So we're going to transition from 2nd Maccabees to 4th Maccabees. And if you don't know about 4th Maccabees was authored by the man himself, the one and the only Flavius Josephus. The same Flavius Josephus who wrote this book, who authored this book and so many other books. He's the same Flavius Josephus that authored the book of 4th Maccabees. I have given my family instructions to study 4th Maccabees regularly. Why? Because it's on wisdom. So if you ever want to learn more about wisdom, you want to learn more about self-control, about discipline, about controlling your past. When I used to have a problem and my problem offended me, it didn't offend other people, but my problem offended me. 4th Maccabees is one of those books to help me to get my problem under control because it teaches you the difference in between going in on your passions based off how we feel and dealing with our passions based off how wisdom tells us to operate. So if wisdom, yeah, you know what I'm saying? So just straight like that. So 4th Maccabees is a wonderful book to help you to learn how to control and use discipline in your everyday walk. If this mother and her 7 sons would not have been Yahweh-fearing men and women, then they would have ate the pork. They would have drank the Kool-Aid. They would have took the COVID shot. Did you get vaccinated? Wow. They would have took the vaccination. You got to be more worried about the people that are vaccinated, right? Okay. Than the people that are not vaccinated. The people that are vaccinated are contagious. And their DNA is structured. Is changed now. They're not even, they can't even be classified as humans anymore because, I would take a person who smokes crack and has an addiction over a person who's been COVID vaccinated because they don't have the same genetic makeup as everybody else does. They'll never be the same. Isn't that crazy? You can't reverse it. And you can't reverse it. You can't reverse it. And I mean, for what I've seen, crack ain't all that bad. Don't ask me how I know. No, but we've had people who are functioning, and people that were in narcotics and they were functioning addicts, which I don't know, but I do know family members and friends, etc., that grew up and they had addictions. But those things you can quit. You can't reverse the COVID shot. Once you get that shot, you finished. You finished. All right, your life, your life will never be the same. So I'm going to yield the floor. Shaddad is a very good teacher. He's been ministering with us in the city gates of Gym City, Dayton, Ohio. The man was down at the Klan rally on fire, man. You know, giving the ministry. And I pray that you all also get introduced to his music, man. Maybe I'll have the blessing to do a verse with him one day. You know, me, you and your house shy on a verse would be dope, man. Man. And we right here, we got studios already. Your house, I got a studio. You got a studio? Man, that's crazy, man. I'm slipping, man. I'm slipping. So I'm gonna pass the floor to Shaddad. Be blessed by his voice. All right. When I come back, you know, I'll be ministering alongside of you. And he's gonna give me the green light on when to come back in. And until then, shalom and enjoy. Shalom. You just have you need. See this again.
All right, we're gonna be starting with the book of 2 Maccabees, chapter 7. It came to pass also that 7 brethren with their mother were taken and compelled by the king against the law to taste swine's flesh, and were tormented with scourges and whips. But one of them that spake first said thus, What wouldest thou ask or learn of us? We are ready to die, rather than to transgress the law of our fathers. So we see that the brethren and the mother, they're taken by the king. They're asked to go against the law and eat pork. And they saying, what more would you want from us? What would you want from us? We are ready to die. We're not going to transgress against the Most High. Do what you please. All right. Verse 3. Then the king, being in a rage, commanded pans and cauldrons to be made hot, which forthwith being heated, he commanded to cut out the tongue of him that spake first, and to cut off the utmost parts of his body, the rest of his brethren and his mother looking on. Now when he was thus maimed in all his members, he commanded him, being yet alive, to be brought to the fire and to be fried in the pan. And as the vapor of the pan was for a good space dispersed, they exhorted one another with the mother to die manfully, saying thus, Yahweh Elohim looketh upon us, and in truth hath comfort in us, as Mashah in his song, which witnessed to their faces, declared, saying, and he shall be comforted in his servants. So we seeing here that they're preparing. He's trying to get him to cut off the tongue, and because he spake first against the king of what he wanted to do, and he was maimed. All right. And he's saying that the Most High looks upon us. He comforts us just like he did Moses in his song. Verse 7. So when the first was dead after this manner, they brought the second to make him a mocking stock. And when they had pulled off the skin of his head with the hair, they asked him, Wilt thou eat before thou be punished throughout every member of thy body? So he's asking him, he's bringing the second one to be mocked as well. He's like, well, are you going to eat the pork before you go through these transgressions with your body? Verse 8, but he answered in his own language and said, no. Wherefore he also received the next torment in order, as the former did. And when he was at the last gasp, he said, thou, like a fury, takest us out of the present life, but the king of the world shall raise us up, who had died for his laws, into everlasting life. So he's saying he's going through torment as well. He's saying he said no as well, just like his brothers. And he's saying your fury is going to take us out of the present life, the physical life, but Yahweh will raise us up in the everlasting life. Verse 10, after him was the third made a mocking stock, and when he was required, he put out his tongue, and that right soon, holding forth his hands manfully, and said courageously, these I have from heaven, and for his laws I despise them, and from him I hope to receive them again. So he's saying he's being courageous and saying, for the Most High's laws, I don't care. I don't care about my hands, my tongue, whatever you do to me. I don't care about it. I will receive them again, Most High willing, as long as I keep the laws. Verse 12, insomuch that the king and they that were with him marveled at the young man's courage, for that he nothing regarded the pains. Now, when this man was dead also, they tormented and mangled the fourth in like manner. Verse 4, Second Maccabees chapter 7, verse 14. So when he was ready to die, he said thus, it is good, being put to death by men, to look for hope from Elohim, to be raised up again by him. As for thee, thou shalt have no resurrection to life. Verse 15. Afterward, they brought the fifth also and mangled him. Then looked he unto the king and said, thou hast power over men. Thou art corruptible. Thou doest what thou wilt. Yet think not that our nation is forsaken of Elohim. But abide a while, and behold his great power, how he will torment thee and thy seed. So, where are we at? So the fourth was tormented in the like manner as his brothers. And they're saying to him, he's like, you have power over men, but what you do, you will receive back from the Most High. The Most High is gonna torture you. He's going to bring these affliction on you and your children. All right. Verse 18. After him also, they brought the sixth, who being ready to die said, be not deceived without cause, for we suffer these things for ourselves, having sinned against Allah, Elohim. Therefore, marvelous things are done unto us. But think not thou that takest in hand to strive against Elohim, that thou shalt escape unpunished. So he's explaining that we are being punished because we went against the Most High. But don't think that you will go unpunished, because the Most High is going to afflict you as well. But we're going to die by his laws, and we're not going to transgress. We're going to die for his laws. Verse 20. But the mother was marvelous above all, and worthy of honorable memory. For when she saw her 7 sons slain within the space of one day, she bare it with a good courage, because of the hope that she had in Yahweh. Yea, she exhorted every one of them in her own language, filled with courageous spirits, and stirring up her womanish thoughts with a manly stomach. She said unto them, I could not tell how ye came into my womb, for I neither gave you breath nor life, neither was it I that formed the members of every one of you. But doubtless the creator of the world, who formed the generation of man and found out the beginning of all things, will also of his own mercy give you breath and life again, as ye now regard not your own selves for his law's sake. Verse 24. Now Antiochus, thinking himself despised and suspecting it to be a reproachful speech, whilst the youngest was yet alive, did not only exhort him by words, but also assured him with oaths that he would make him both a rich and a happy man, if he would turn from the laws of his fathers, that also he would take him for his friend and trust him with affairs. So you see, he's still dealing in wickedness. The youngest is alive, and he's saying, all right, you know what? If you transgress and turn away from the laws of your fathers, then you will be profitable. I'll be your friend. I'll give you riches. I'll give you all these things. Verse 25. But when the young man would in no case hearken unto him, the king called his mother and exhorted her that she would counsel the young man to save his life. So now he's trying to bring his mother in to try to save his life, to see if she will help save his life. All right. Verse 27, but she, bowing herself toward him, laughing the cruel tyrant to scorn, spake in her country language on this manner, O my son, have pity upon me, that bare thee 9 months in my womb, and gave thee suck 3 years, and nourished thee, and brought thee up unto this age, and endured the troubles of education. I beseech thee, my son, look upon the heaven and the earth and all that there is, and all that is therein, and consider that Allah made them of things that were not, and so was mankind made likewise. Verse 29, fear not this tormentor, but being worthy of thy brethren, take thy death, that I may receive thee again in mercy with thy brethren. So you could tell that she is a God-fearing woman. She's, the Most High is definitely dealing with her. She's in the spirit. She's saying, fear not this tormentor. I will see you again. Take your death. You'll be fine. Verse 30, while she was yet speaking these words, the young man said, whom wait ye for? I will not obey the king's commandment, but I will obey the commandment of the law that was given unto our fathers by my Shah. And thou that hast been the author of all mischief against the Hebrews shall not escape the hands of God. For we suffer because of our sins. And though the living Lord be angry with us a little while for our chastening and correction, yet shall he be at one again with his servants. But thou, O godless man, and of all other most wicked, be not lifted up without a cause, nor puffed up with uncertain hopes, lifting up thy hand against the servant of Allah. So he's saying to his mother, like, who you waiting for? I'm not about to obey the commands of this king. I'm going to obey God and the law that he gave Moses. We suffer because of our sins, you know. And this king, he's the author of mischief. He's puffing himself up. He's being unrighteous towards us, but he's not going to go unpunished. Verse 35, for thou hast not yet escaped the judgment of Almighty Allah, who seeth all things. For our brethren who now have suffered a short pain are dead under Allah's covenant of everlasting life. But thou, through the judgment of Allah, shall receive just punishment for thy pride. But I, as my brethren, offer up my body and life for the laws of our fathers, beseeching Allah that he would speedily be merciful unto our nation, and that thou by torments and plagues mayest confess that he alone is Allah, and that in me and my brethren the wrath of the Almighty, which is justly brought upon all our nation, may cease. Then the king, being enraged, handled him worse than all the rest, and took it grievously that he was mocked. So this man died undefiled and put his whole trust in Yahweh. Last of all, after the sons, the mother died. Let this be enough now to have spoken concerning the idolatrous feast and the extreme tortures. All right, so he's talking to the king once more and saying, you haven't escaped judgment from God. Me and our brothers, we suffered a short pain. They're dead, but it's a short pain. And may the Most High keep us. All right, that was the end of that chapter. So hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. And we're going to get into the fourth Maccabees with chapter 15, showing what the mother had went through. All right. This is the book of fourth Maccabees, chapter 15, verse 1. O reason of the sons, Yahweh O reason of the sons, Lord over the passions, O religion that was dearer to the mother than her children, the mother having two choices before her, religion and the present saving alive, Salaki, and the present saving alive of her 7 sons, according to the tyrant's promise, loved rather religion, which saveth unto eternal life, according to Allah. Oh, how may I express the passionate love of parents for children? We stamp a marvelous likeness of our soul and of and of our shape of the tender nature of the child, and most of all through the mother's sympathy with her children being deeper than the father's. For women are a softer soul than men, and the more children they bear, the more do they abound in love for them. Verse 6, but of all mothers, she of the 7 sons abounded in love beyond the rest, seeing that having in 7 childbearings felt maternal tenderness for the fruit of her womb, and having been constrained because of the many pangs in which she bore each to a close affection, she nevertheless, through the fear of Allahim, rejected the present safety of her children. And more than that, through the moral beauty and goodness of her sons and their obedience to the law, her maternal love for them was made stronger, for they were just and temperate and brave and great-souled, and the lovers of each other and of their mother, in such manner that they obeyed her in keeping the law, in the keeping of the law, even unto death. So we're seeing that she was given a choice between religion, well, basically given a choice between keeping the law of Yahweh or saving the lives of her 7 sons. And you see, she did not give in to everything the tyrant had promised her and her children. She was a God-fearing woman, and she was greater than all women. It was explaining how mothers have this strong spirit when they give birth, and the more she had, the more spirit she had. So her keeping the law made her sons keep the law, and when her sons kept the law, she loved them even more for doing that, for giving their life over for the Most High's law. 4th Maccabees chapter 15 verse 11. But nevertheless, though she had so many temptations to yield to her maternal instincts, in no single instance did the dreadful variety of tortures have power to alter her reason. But the mother urged each son separately and altogether to die for their religion. O holy nature and parental love and yearning of parents for offspring and wages of nursing, and unconquerable Salakia. And unconquerable I'm losing my place. An unconquerable affection of mothers, the mothers seeing them one by one racked and burned, remain unshaken in soul for religion's sake. She saw the flesh of her sons being consumed in the fire, and the extremities of their hands and feet scattered on the ground, and the flesh coverings torn off from their heads, right to their cheeks, strewn about like masks. O mother, who now knew sharper pangs than the pangs of labor, O woman, alone among women, the fruit of whose womb was perfect religion. Thy firstborn giving up the ghost did not alter thy resolution, nor thy second, looking with eyes of pity on thee under his tortures, nor thy third, breathing out his spirit. Neither didst thou weep when thou beheldest the eyes of each amid the torments, looking boldly on the same anguish, and sawest in their quivering nostrils the signs of approaching death. When thou sawest the flesh of one son being severed after the flesh of another, and hand after hand being cut off, and head after head being flayed, and corpse cast upon corpse, and the place crowded with spectators on account of the tortures of thy children, thou sheddest not a tear, not the melodies of the sirens, nor the songs of swans, which sweet sound do so charm the hearer's ears, as sounded the voices of the son speaking to the mother from amid torments. This is powerful. So it's showing everything that the mother is witnessing and going through. And as a mother, I can't even imagine what the mother was going through seeing this, but she stayed strong and she did not give in to the king, what the king was saying. She stayed righteous and kept the law of the Most High. And after seeing all that, all their hands being cut off, all their heads being cut off, she remained strong for the Most High, which this is how we need to remain. All right, I'm in verse 22. How many and how great were the tortures with which the mother was tormented while her sons were being tortured with torments of rack and fire, but instead reason lent her heart a man's strength under her passion of suffering, and exalted her to make no account of the present yearnings of mother love. Verse 24. And although she saw the destruction of her 7 children and the many and varied forms of their torments, the noble mother willingly surrendered them through faith in Allahim Salakia. For she beheld in her own mind, even as it had been cunning advocates in a council chamber, nature and parenthood, between 2 votes in the case of her children, one for their death and one to save them alive thereupon. Regarded not the saving of her 7 sons for a little time, but as a true daughter of Abraham, called to mind his God-fearing courage. O mother of the race, vindicator of our law, defender of our religion, and winner of the prize in the struggle within thyself. O woman, nobler to resist than men, and braver than warriors to endure. For as the ark of Noah, with the whole living world for her burden, in the world whelming deluge, did withstand the mighty surges, so thou, the keeper of the law, beaten upon every side by the surging waves of the passions, and strained as with strong blast by the tortures of thy sons, didst nobly weather the storms that assailed thee for religion's sake. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Man. So yeah, we're seeing that how noble she was as a mother and how God-fearing she was to continue to endure after each torment that her sons went through and that she went through, and the passion that she had for the Most High. It said that she was given the strength of men for her religion's sake, and it doesn't get any more better than that, being a follower of Hamashiach Yahawashai. That story, it's a sad story, but it's powerful as well. That's all I have on that. Hopefully I was able to break it down in an edifying way, and hopefully we continue to see everything during these times of the Feast of Dedication and what we're going through, and hopefully we can bring our family back into the laws of the Most High. That I yield. Say Kwam Yasharala, Yabarakam, Yahweh Hashem, Yahweh Shai. Shalom.